All right, he is the anchor of Saturday Night Live's Weekend Update. He also does a mean Bob Dole. Is there any other kind? Norm Macdonald. Hey, buddy. Thank you for coming. He's a rock and roller who sold over 45 million records. He could kick Slim Whitman's ass. Our very own favorite bat out of hell, Meatloaf, is right over here. How are you? Welcome to California.
Thank you. Hi, kids.
All right. Well,
all right.
Now, you're a musician. Did you watch the American Music Awards last night?
No, I didn't.
Okay, well, you should have. It was on this network. Well, I watched that last night, and I watched the Super Bowl, of course, like every other red-blooded American the day before. And I was thinking maybe I'd get an acclamation from this panel right to start off. Could we have people in show business and sports stop thanking God for what they do? God could give a rat's ass if you won an award or won a game. Like God cares about winning.
No, wait a second.
That's not what God's about, right?
The Cowboys are playing.
Well, I thought God was very, you know, God is fair. I would say if you're God, right, I would say one of your qualities would be fairness, right?
Above all others.
Yeah. And I thought this was a very fair Super Bowl because Green Bay won by exactly 14 points.
They covered the spread, in other words, right?
Exactly. Nobody won, nobody lost.
Well, what does that have to do with God?
I don't know.
But you know what I mean? Everybody gets up there, and the first thing they say is, thank God, I want to thank God for... But I don't think that God is involved. I think it's their hubris to even say such a thing.
I think it's wonderful that they have faith in God, and they look to Him for everything to do.
I agree with you, Linda.
Oh.
By that...
In fact, I thank God that I'm here tonight with you, Bill.
But by the same...
Don't you think so? I think so. Hallelujah, we're here tonight. Hallelujah.
He hopped up on goofball. I think.
But by the same token, the Patriots should lose their faith in God now.
Exactly.
They're being tested.
I think that God has partisan... I mean,
I don't think God watched the American Music Awards.
Exactly. I mean, he didn't get to where he is by giving a damn about it. The other thing is, how about this showboating that they all do? That these players, they celebrate the most inconsequential accomplishments. A guy puts on his chin strap and he's running around and routine tackles and plays. Now, my question here is also the dancing, you know. Now, let's be honest. In that Super Bowl, the only white guy dancing was Fred Astaire.
With a broom.
Right.
He's the only one not getting paid for dancing.
Well, I mean,
Hey,
the white guys
professional
can't
sport.
dance. They probably couldn't do
No.
that. I mean, that
They
shuffle...
do chickens and gooses and things like that.
The white guys?
Yeah, Tony Saraguso, who plays for the Indianapolis Colts. He does the goose. That's where he gets his name. Somebody from Indianapolis.
But do you think that's more of a black thing? I mean, is it a black thing
They
that
do
we don't...
better.
What?
They do
No, they're just better dancers.
Yeah, they're better. And I think, you know
Goose
what?
really wants to dance. Go ahead.
What?
I think it's appropriate. I like it. It's a celebration. They're happy. They're having a good time. They're number one. They're, you know, they're
I mean, I
good.
think you can go too far. I think, you know, when you dance in the end zone, that's fine. When you bump heads with others. But, you know, sometimes, you know, I heard about one guy killed his wife and a waiter. You know what I mean?
You're referring to O.J. Simpson.
I'm not good with names. I just heard the story.
And there is another big sports story in the news. It was last week, a football player named Walt Sweeney. Do you remember him playing? You're a big fan. No? I don't either. But you know? Okay, who did he play for? The Chargers, I think? All right. Okay. Anyway, he played 20 years ago, and he sued the NFL, and he won. The judge awarded him a couple of $1 million, and he said when he played, they made him take amphetamines and painkillers so he could get out there, and they encouraged drinking to be one of the boys, and now he's a drug addict from this stuff. That's what he said. He said his life has stood still for 20 years, and he's got the big mutton chop sideburns to prove it. And And he's going to get money for this, and somebody else is going to take responsibility. Anybody
Yeah.
against
I
it?
always have something to say, Bill. No, am I against it? No, I'm not against it.
Really?
No.
You're
Because
not against what?
I'm not against the court awarding him $2 million.
Okay.
Because if you played football in that era, you ever heard anybody say, and everybody here said it, I don't know what I would do if I wasn't doing what I'm doing. And
Yes,
it holds
I've heard
really
that.
true for professional football players. And in that era,
But-
they wasn't making that much money compared to what they do now. Steve Young, how much does Steve Young make a year?
Oh, lots.
A lot. Well, he took 20 cortisone shots at halftime in the Philadelphia game.
Who did?
Steve Young.
20 quarters.
20 cortisone shots in his ribs.
Wow. His ribs must have been really high.
Yeah. So, this guy...
But
if
that's
you-
his choice.
I understand that. I understand that, but he wanted to play, right?
But in 20 years, he could say, you guys got me hooked. But it was his choice to play. And isn't it the same with this guy, Walt Sweeney?
but he's being paid to play,
He's being paid, right? He's being...
right?
I agree.
He's being paid to play. In that era, if you didn't take the drugs, you weren't going to be paid to play
But
anymore.
you just said, I don't know whether you're arguing the meat or the loaf here, because you're...
I think I said the same thing at the same time.
I'm confused.
Are
Look,
you confused? Did I
know what I'm saying?
confuse
The guy-
myself?
You're saying it's a matter of choice.
exactly.
Bottom
Thank
line.
you.
But it's not really a
It's
matter of
not a-
choice. I
no.
agree with
Did
Meatloaf.
some of them turn it down?
That's easy, since like our president, he's on both sides of the issue.
No, I'm not on
No,
both sides.
he's saying that
Thank
you
you,
really
Mark,
have
for
no
translating.
choice. You have to do this to stay competitive.
Oh,
When
come
I
on.
ran track when I was a kid.
Oh, don't brag.
And when it started, when I ran track, I was good. And then all of a sudden, people started jabbing what they told me was B12 into their ass. And it turned out to be steroids, but I didn't know that.
Are you kidding?
Yeah, and then
And they did this to you?
no, they didn't jam anything in my ass. But all the guys were jamming B12 in their ass. I shouldn't be saying jamming. They were injecting.
This is
Anyway.
the peacock syndrome in action right here.
But he would not have played had he not taken the painkillers.
Well, what
You
about...
see North Dallas 40?
Yes,
mean,
I did.
That was I mean, that was some kind of Hollywood exaggeration, but I think it was close to the truth.
But the implications for the rest of society are tremendous in this. Isn't that true?
I
that
agree.
also-
I have to believe there are some that turned down the drugs, that didn't take them. That,
Yeah, and they don't play.
Well, we don't know. I'd like to hear,
No, they don't, I'm telling you, they don't play.
Well, that should be illegal.
Would you feel differently if it was, say, a college football player 20 years later said, I'm illiterate because I played ball and they kept passing me through? Would you feel differently about it? Is it the drug issue, or is it the idea that somebody just went along?
I think that's a good analogy, but... But first of all, that's college. I mean, you are paying a college to educate you. So if they really, I mean, if they tried to and you just didn't do it, that's your personal responsibility.
So it's down to personal responsibility for
I
you,
think it is a
bottom line.
personal responsibility case. What about the hundreds and hundreds of football players who aren't suing, who did this? Why? How come their lives were able to
Some
go?
people have more of an addictive personality than others.
And the rest of us should pay for that?
Yeah, I think the guy with the really addictive personality is the one you should give $1.8 million to.
I mean,
In all walks of life, forget football.
Right.
Aren't people compromising every day to keep their jobs?
but couldn't Jan Michael Vincent say show business made me what I am today? I mean, right? Show business makes people do terrible things, like be on this show. All right, well, we're out of time in this area. We'll come back and talk about.
I need your love. You free my mind. I need your love. Yeah, you free my mind.
Military, little, because an important ruling came down last week from federal judge Shira Scheindlin, who said that they could now buy at the PX on the base dirty magazines, if you will. Big military support here.
Yeah.
It's a big military
There's
state.
some deprived
California.
military
Right.
personnel we can see.
She, she also included also included videos in the ruling saying they were also protected by free speech, although the plots were kind of thin. No, anyway, it was called the act that she overturned was called the Military Honor and Decency Act, which for years had banned the selling of this kind of material because they said in that act that they thought it would encourage sexual harassment. When now some people are saying maybe the opposite is true. A quick session with the pet of the month, and maybe that soldier is...
Yeah. You get sleepy. You get sleepy. Don't you get sleepy?
What do you mean?
You don't want to rape somebody when you're sleepy.
Why are you sleepy?
Well, after you watch the porno. Listen, I like...
Norm, you have a strange metabolism.
Maybe it's those B12 shots you got.
Right.
No, I
You're
like
in high
porno.
school.
I like porno as much as the next guy, you know? And I probably like it... I probably like it 100 times as much as the next guy. But although, you know, I have been watching... this is amazing, because porno is my favorite kind of movie to watch. And yet... I've seen some pornos lately that my buddies have shown me. Have you seen these ones with all male casts? Gay pornos, they're called. These things are horrible. And there's thousands of them. They make thousands of them. They have not made one good one. And I'll tell you what the problem with it is. Quite seriously.
Yes, sir.
Quite seriously, the problem with these gay pornos and every one guys having sex with each other. Who the hell wants to see that? You know?
Maybe you're shopping in the wrong section of the store.
It's not for me.
I wonder if they can't have those in the military base then.
But these,
Don't ask, don't tell, don't watch.
Right. That's an interesting question. I don't know if this ruling includes gay material on the base. Do you know?
Well, you know, it's really ironic at a time when they're trying to sensitize the soldiers. They're sending them to training on how to treat women with respect, and now they're stocking the PXs with porno magazines. It doesn't make sense. I mean, it's a mixed message, wouldn't you say?
Why?
Well, because these magazines degrade women. They do.
And I'll say one thing.
Why don't you just stand up for this segment? You know, like in the...
This is a little warning for people. Playgirl magazine has not got any girls in it.
I give up.
No, please, this hunk is done. But I don't see what's you say. But they don't all degrade. You don't think Playboy
Well, I don't
degrades
look
women,
at
do
them.
you?
Obviously, I don't look at
Well,
them.
then how can you speak
I've
with
read
authority
about
if you
it,
don't
and
look
I have a general idea of what's
Oh,
going on
have you
there.
ever seen? Oh, you.
Yes, I have, but I don't. I don't go out of my way to look for them. No, I don't.
Well, Norm has some material in
Yes,
his,
I'll ask
dressing
Norm
room.
next time. I'll call him and
He's got
see what he
thousands of
thinks.
videos.
But
But they're all male. You might enjoy that.
no.